Just today, the UK's arms supplies to Saudi Arabia have been surging to unprecedented levels. In recent months, missile sales alone have skyrocketed by an overwhelming 11,000%. The spike comes amid Riyadh's ongoing military offensive in Yemen, which has sparked a storm of criticism over the vast number of civilian deaths. William Whiteman reports.
The figures show sales of British weaponry to Saudi Arabia reaching over £1 billion in just 3 months in 2015, an increase of 11,000% compared to the 9 million sales mark reached during the previous 3-month period. We contacted the UK government regarding the issue and got this response.
We regularly raise with Saudi Arabian-led coalition and the Houthis the need to comply with international humanitarian law in Yemen. We monitor the situation carefully and have offered the Saudi authorities advice and training in this area.
This advice and training reportedly also includes UK military personnel helping to target Saudi coalition bombing runs in Yemen, according to the Saudi foreign minister. And all of this is taking place amid claims that the UK government and its advisers are warning the leadership that Britain could be prosecuted for war crimes over its involvement in the conflict. Meanwhile, the number of civilian casualties keeps rising. And all of this led Scottish politician Angus Robertson to accuse the Prime Minister, David Cameron, of silently dragging Britain into Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen.
Thousands of civilians have been killed in Yemen, including a large number by the Saudi Air Force.
That's right.
And they've done that using British-built planes with pilots who are trained by British instructors, who are dropping British-made bombs and are coordinated by the Saudis in the presence of British military advisers.
Amnesty International has hit out at the UK's move, describing it as deeply worrying and saying it's only helping to lay waste to war-torn Yemen. While Britain's special relations with Saudi Arabia have brought David Cameron some rather awkward moments.
We have death penalty.
Well, coming up a bit later on the programme here on RT International, the UK-Russia spy scandal of the decade. It's back in the headlines again. Britain prepares to reveal the results of its public inquiry into the death of former Russian KGB officer Alexander Litvinenko. For now on air, the Russian ruble has reached a new historic low against the US dollar. It comes amid plunging oil prices, with crude reaching a level on Wednesday not seen in more than a decade. All that, coupled with market panic, is piling pressure on the financial heavyweights hanging out at the World Economic Forum in Davos. And that's where RT's Daniel Bushell is right now.
The triple whammy of global bad news has delegates here scared. The oil price sliding at its lowest in over a decade. That in turn sent world stock markets into a nosedive. Executives here warning us of what's called a bear market, a prolonged period of sliding stocks and pessimism. Finally, China, whose record growth in previous crises kept the world economy afloat, is itself hurting badly. Beijing even had to suspend trading at the Hong Kong Stock Exchange because losses were so great.
China has developed an array of unbalancing factors which are blocking its high economic growth. Of course, the country's growth was bound to slow down sooner or later. China is now reorienting itself towards other markets, and this process will take some time. First of all, this will slow down global growth by lowering demand for goods like oil, metals and other materials. China has also built a number of production lines which are underused. Plus, the country will dampen global prices, which will also make for less opportunities. China's position has a significant global impact.
The tension's palpable in the foreign corridors and the streets of this luxury ski resort, though some are putting on a brave face. The atmosphere is made worse by the general air of fear, with a flurry of recent terror attacks, including on Western Europe. Astonishing number of cops, rifles at the ready, guard the VIPs, and security this year is especially tight. They're also prowling the pavements of the town. All in all, it's hardly the most positive Davos I've been to over the years.
Well, there may be pressure on the global economy, but the decision makers in Davos aren't exactly tightening their belts in Europe's highest town. It's about $27,000 just to attend this. That means the forum will pull in about $55 million just on the entry fees. Then the accommodation, the cheapest hotel room, $500 a night, and even a basic pizza will set you back $25. Well, thanks for sharing your Thursday with us here on RT International. Back in a moment with more news on the way, including nuclear warheads cruising along the motorways of Scotland. And stories in a moment.